She's the only splash of color in this picture, but take a close look at her tiara.
Yeah?
That's one of Princess Diana's favorites. It's actually the one that she wore at her wedding.
So now
Another drama is brewing in the royal palace. And this time, it's not about Camilla and William, nor is it about Princess Diana's legacy. Currently, the controversy is all about one tiara. A priceless piece of royal history once worn by Queen Elizabeth has suddenly become the center of a showdown between Queen Camilla and Princess Catherine. In the British royal family, the tiara is a jewelry that symbolizes continuity. Remember, this same tiara was passed down to Princess Diana during her marriage to Prince Charles. Why is Camilla trying to take Catherine's jewelry? And how will it all end? Join us as we break down the shocking royal jewelry war-rocking Buckingham Palace. Queen Elizabeth's tiara. Jewelry holds a special place in the British royal family, holding a jewelry collection estimated to be worth at least 533 million euros. But here is the catch. Despite the vaults of diamonds and pearls, nothing holds power quite like the tiara. No wonder it has become the latest object in the never-ending drama between Queen Camilla and Princess Catherine, two of the most influential women in the royal family today. So, how did this piece become so important to the royal family? It all started in 1936. Cartier made the tiara in platinum with nearly 1,000 diamonds set into scrolls and fan shapes. King George VI bought it for his wife Elizabeth. But she didn't wear it much. Instead, she gave it to their daughter, Princess Elizabeth, as a gift for her 18th birthday. According to royal insiders, Queen Elizabeth left the tiara as a symbol of authority for future queens. But in a shocking twist, Princess Catherine shocked everyone when she wore it to her wedding back in 2011. And that's where the story took a shocking turn. Stay with us, because the story is just getting started. According to palace sources, Catherine wore the tiara as a symbol of honor to the tradition and respect to Queen Elizabeth. However, what she didn't realize was that not everyone was happy about it. Of course, this is one of the most important jewels in the royal collection, and Camilla believed that she was entitled to it, not Catherine. Remember that the tiara is the most important gift Queen Elizabeth had gotten from her father. When she became Queen Elizabeth II, she rarely wore the piece. Sources close to her said she regarded it as too modest for royal occasions. Yet, she kept it firmly in the family vault. Years went by, royal brides came and went, and then Catherine made her move. When Catherine chose the Cartier halo tiara for her wedding, it caught everyone off guard. She had access to so many other royal tiaras, but that's exactly why she picked this one. It wasn't about showing off. It was about respect. She knew what it meant to Queen Elizabeth II. She knew it wasn't loud or imposing. It was classic, quiet, and strong, just like the Queen had been in her early years. Her action impressed royal watchers. According to them, Catherine wasn't just becoming a royal. She was honoring the one woman who had held the crown the longest. That choice made headlines, not for the size of the diamonds, but for the symbolism. The message was simple. Catherine understood the job, the history, and the expectations. She wasn't playing dress-up. She was stepping into a role with purpose. And guess what? From that moment on, the tiara became hers in the eyes of the public. Even if it technically belonged to the crown, it was forever tied to her image. No one else had worn it since. But Camilla felt insulted all along. And if the rumors circulating are anything to go by, Queen Camilla is planning a comeback. According to media reports, Queen Camilla might soon wear the tiara to one of the usual state banquets. And if she does, it's going to be a very big deal. Remember that she had never worn it before. It hadn't been seen in public since Catherine's wedding. There are also reports that the Queen did not inform King Charles of her plan to wear the tiara. Camilla understands what the tiara means. She knows the ties it had to Queen Elizabeth II and how closely it is associated with Catherine's wedding. Wearing it now, without warning, is not just a coincidence. Insiders believe it is a form of retaliation, a way for Camilla to reassert her place after being overshadowed by Catherine for years. In photos, Catherine often drew more praise, more attention, and more affection from the public. Her style is better, and her presence is never forced. While Camilla had to struggle to become the queen consort, Catherine had always held her ground as the future queen, and with each year, that future looked more certain. So Camilla might be planning to do this as a way to change the narrative. Royal historians also believe that she is trying to rewrite the story, placing herself at the center of a legacy she had never been part of, at least not naturally. It is all like a power grab dressed up in diamonds. And yes, palace officials are aware of the growing rift, and that their lack of connection will shock you. Sources reveal that reaction is muted, at least for now. No official statements have been made. But the silence said enough. There is no explanation, because there couldn't be one without exposing the tension. For Catherine, this could mean being stripped of something personal, something earned. Camilla's move is not just bold, it is calculated. It reveals how fragile relations within the royal family have grown under King Charles. Catherine had spent years building a steady, respectful image that was always in line with tradition. Camilla, on the other hand, had worked her way in from the outside, and now she is making it clear she is not interested in staying in the background any longer. Another interesting thing is the timing of all this drama. Queen Elizabeth has passed, Charles has taken the throne, and everything is shifting. Camilla sees a chance to change the visual cues of power. She doesn't need public approval. She has the crown, and she wouldn't wait for permission to wear what she saw as hers by role. But that wouldn't make it right. For many watching, such a move would be perceived as desperate. It is as if Camilla can't stand the fact that Catherine has managed to win the people's love while keeping her dignity intact. Wearing the tiara will not simply give Camilla the same aura. Which brings the question, why is Camilla so desperate to wear the tiara? Keep watching to find out. Camilla's struggles to gain public acceptance. For years, Camilla was seen as the royal family's outsider. Even now, crowned and crowned again, there's still an air of doubt around her title. Many Britons simply don't accept her as the queen consort because of her past with King Charles. Camilla's relationship with Charles began long before King Charles married Princess Diana. They met young, they clicked, and for a while, they were inseparable. But then something happened. Charles went away to serve in the Navy. Camilla had to move on, and she eventually married Andrew Parker Bowles. When Charles returned from service, the royal family pushed him into what they believed was a more suitable match. That match, of course, was Diana. What they didn't know was that they just triggered one of the most painful chapters in royal history. You see, after Charles married Diana, his emotional connection to Camilla never faded. They were in touch, behind closed doors, in phone calls, and eventually in headlines. When the truth spilled out into the public through tapes, books, and confessions, it was Camilla who bore the brunt of it. Diana had the world's sympathy, and Camilla had its scorn. She was branded the other woman, the homewrecker. For years, people wouldn't even say her name without a sneer. It was clear the British people didn't want her. The palace didn't know what to do with her. And even Charles's sons, Harry and William, couldn't hide their disapproval. After Diana's death, Camilla was kept far from official events, almost hidden from view. It took years before she was seen beside Charles in any real capacity. According to Prince Harry, he and William begged their father not to marry her. They didn't trust her intentions.
She was the third person in the marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image.
You and your brother both directly asked your dad not to marry Camilla.
Yes.
They didn't believe she deserved the crown. But Camilla was patient. She kept a low profile, slowly stepping into public life, avoiding drama, and carving out a new image. She began focusing on charity work, supporting causes like domestic violence awareness, literacy, and osteoporosis, a condition her mother had battled. And what happened next surprised everyone. Over time, the palace began to accept her presence. She smiled for the cameras, laughed with the public, and kept her remarks safe and simple. It was a deliberate effort to soften the past, to reposition herself not as a threat, but as a partner to the future king. When Queen Elizabeth II finally gave her formal blessing for Camilla to be known as Queen Consort after her death, it was meant to silence the debate. But the public wasn't fully sold. Even with a crown on her head, Camilla's approval rating remained low. She didn't have the warmth Diana had. She didn't have the trust Catherine had earned. And no matter how hard she worked, she couldn't shake the image of being the woman who came in second, then took first. And that's exactly where Catherine comes in. Catherine had never tried to rival Camilla. She had never hurt her, but because she didn't have to. From the moment she stepped into the royal spotlight, Catherine got it right. She wasn't flashy, but she had a presence. She wasn't trying to dominate, but people naturally followed her. Her wedding to William was a global spectacle, with many attracted to her because of her work on early childhood development, mental health, and addiction recovery.
That the issues we face in childhood are ones we can cope with and learn from. But for some children, learning to cope with life's challenges can be a struggle.
And while she didn't seek attention, she got it anyway, gracefully, quietly, but powerfully. In photos, it's always Catherine who draws the eye. In headlines, it's always Catherine who carries the goodwill. And in the public's imagination, she is the perfect royal woman, balanced, dutiful, and untouchable. That growing affection from the people has become Camilla's greatest obstacle. After the death of Queen Elizabeth, many would have preferred Catherine as the queen. Catherine isn't just William's wife. She's the mother of a future king. She's the one who has never stirred scandal and never needed damage control. Everything Camilla had to fight for, respect, admiration, and legitimacy, Catherine received naturally. And with every royal appearance, every event, every graceful gesture, Catherine pulls more of the spotlight, whether she wants it or not. So that's why Camilla needs the tiara. The tiara is a visual symbol of Catherine's connection to Queen Elizabeth. According to royal observers, Catherine remained poised and silent about it publicly. But inside the palace walls, the atmosphere has changed. Camilla's rivalry with Catherine isn't loud. It's not full of public arguments or awkward statements. But it's there, in who gets the louder applause, who dominates magazine covers, who wins over the next generation of loyal followers. Catherine doesn't have to try. Camilla always does. And that's the frustration. That is not all. Catherine also knows that her reign is temporary. Catherine's is just beginning. And, unlike Camilla, Catherine doesn't carry the weight of scandal. It is important to talk about what makes Catherine so special, and what the future holds for the two royals. We are about to reveal something special, so stay tuned. Princess Catherine's jewelry, war on Camilla? To understand Kate and Camilla's jewelry drama, you have to first understand her background and entry into the royal family. Princess Catherine wasn't exactly born into royalty. She was born in Chapel Row, Bucklebury, a comfortable upper-middle-class background, sure, but worlds away from palaces. Her parents, Carol and Michael Middleton, built their party pieces business themselves. It was a life of family, work, and relative normalcy. When she arrived at St. Andrews University to study history of art, she wasn't expecting to date a prince. She was a student and part of the crowd before she eventually caught William's attention at a charity fashion show. Fast forward to the wedding at Westminster Abbey. It was a massive global event. People everywhere were drawn by the story, a commoner marrying the Prince of England. Luckily for Kate, she understood the royal life from the beginning. She didn't just step into the role passively. She dedicated the early years of her marriage to William and Harry's royal foundation. She zeroed in on early childhood development, arguing constantly that the first few years of life are critical. Before long, she had already impacted many lives down the line, from mental well-being to addiction. It felt like a genuine long-term commitment, not just a box-ticking exercise. She visited charities, listened to experts, and spoke about the importance of research. Alongside this, she pushed for greater openness around mental health, tackling it in a way that left the British public speechless.
Both William and I have seen that many young people are struggling to cope with the impact of bullying, bereavement, domestic violence, family breakdown, and more.
This active, engaged approach felt different and more connected to contemporary concerns, and the public largely embraced it. Here was someone using her position thoughtfully, trying to bridge the distance between the monarchy and everyday life. But before you know it, the comparisons began. Diana wasn't just William's mother. She was a cultural icon, the people's princess, remembered for her warmth, her humanitarian work, and her instinctive connection with ordinary people. As Catherine became more visible, the media, and indeed the public, started calling her the new Diana. That is not all. Kate and Diana also share a similar fashion choice, passion for children's charities, and empathy for everyday people. Catherine had the tricky task of respecting the memory of the mother-in-law she never knew while still being her person, living her own life as the Princess of Wales. Now, consider Camilla. We mentioned earlier that her path has been incredibly different and full of controversy. It took a very long time for her to gain a measure of acceptance. So, when Catherine arrived on the scene, naturally exuding warmth and connecting easily with the public, just like Diana, it was normal for Camilla to feel uncomfortable. Some royal watchers believe that it is likely not about personal animosity, but more about the narratives that swirl around them. Every time the media praises Catherine and compares her to Diana, it seems like an indirect attack on Queen Camilla. As if that wasn't enough, the royal jewelry drama has also been playing out for a long time. It is not just about the tiara. For instance, remember the engagement ring William gave Catherine? Could you believe that stunning sapphire surrounded by diamonds was the ring Diana picked for herself from Gerard back in 1981? Yes, you heard it right. Queen Camilla feels like Catherine is the shadow of Diana back in her life, something she has to cope with. According to sources close to William, he intended that the ring would serve as a statement, his way, as he said, of having his mother be part of their wedding. Catherine wears it constantly. It's a permanent, visible link to Diana, a legacy literally carried on her hand. Then there's the lover's knot tiara. It actually has a quite long history. The ring was commissioned by Queen Mary around 1914. Queen Elizabeth II inherited it and then loaned it to Diana. It became famously associated with the former Princess of Wales. Diana wore it often, even though reports say she found its weight uncomfortable. After her divorce, it returned to the royal collection. When Catherine first appeared wearing it years later, it was a significant moment. It wasn't just a tiara. It felt like Diana's tiara. Wearing it was another reminder to Queen Camilla that Diana's legacies were still present in the palace. As if that wasn't enough, Catherine did another thing that rattled Camilla. There is a royal earring called the Greville Diamond Chandelier Earrings. These spectacular pieces came to the royal family via Dame Margaret Greville, a wealthy socialite who gave her jewels to the Queen Mother in 1942. The Queen Mother gave them to her daughter, Princess Elizabeth II, as a wedding gift. When Catherine wears these incredibly grand earrings, Kate has since been wearing the rings at state banquets and other major international events. She was recently seen wearing it at a wedding in Jordan. Royal historians believe that she is signaling her connection to the longer line of queens, to the history embodied by Elizabeth II, Diana, and the Queen Mother. It places her firmly within the broader Windsor heritage. Kate has also been caught wearing Queen Elizabeth's simple, signature three-strand pearl necklace, especially during the mourning period for the late Queen. According to royal family sources, Camilla feels she is the rightful person entitled to all these royal collections. That necklace was an everyday item for Queen Elizabeth, and Diana occasionally used them when she was still married to Charles. The necklace was a gift from Queen Elizabeth's father, so it was a very personal item, and she only allowed people that were very dear to her to use them. Now, it seems Catherine has assumed that role after the death of the Queen. Catherine admitted that she doesn't wear them to spite anyone, but rather as a sign of respect, continuity, and an understanding of the legacy she, alongside William, now carries forward. Do you see how these choices work? The engagement ring and the lover's knot tiara are deeply connected to the public memory of Diana, reinforcing Catherine's connection to that specific, beloved figure. Other pieces, like the Greville earrings or the Queen's pearls, connect her to the royal institution itself. Meanwhile, Camilla continues her work. It is important to mention that Camilla has also been caught wearing jewelry from the royal collection. For instance, she occasionally uses the Greville tiara, which is a different piece from the earrings of Queen Elizabeth. She has also been seen wearing the historic Boucheron honeycomb tiara. However, the media narrative often circles back to the Catherine-Diana dynamic, sometimes leaving Camilla's contributions with less attention. It's not necessarily a direct fight, but an ongoing, difficult situation shaped by decades of public drama, personal histories, and the undeniable power of Diana's enduring legacies. The monarchy evolves, but the past continues to play out in the present. Do you think Princess Kate is wearing the jewelry to spite Queen Camilla? Share your opinions with us in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, click the following video on your screen, and you will enjoy it.